Hi, my name is Stephanie and I'm a big fan of all things music, movies, pop culture and physical media. And today I wanted to talk about 10 of my favourite movies. So I've decided to compile a list of like 10 of my favourite movies. If we're talking about my favourite movies, there are so much more than these, but as I was thinking and coming up with my list, I kind of put them through the criteria of have I seen them a million times? Would I rewatch them a million more times? What is my relationship like with the movie? With that said, I literally spent like 2 minutes creating this list. And like within the 2 minutes it took to write out this list, I felt pretty happy with the choices that I made. And I know that there are another like 10, 20 movies that I could probably put, but at the same time, these ones right now are the ones that are calling out to me as being considered my favorites. So, without a doubt, my favorite movie of all time is The Wedding Singer from 1998. This movie stars Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. The soundtrack is amazing. It's set in the 1980s. It's about Adam Sandler's character, Robbie Hart, who obviously wants to be a singer-songwriter, musician full-time, and he lives in his sister's basement and performs gigs as a wedding singer for a living. And then along the way he meets Drew Barrymore's character and stuff happens. And this is a movie I grew up on. It's a movie I love so much. If it's on TV or if I feel like watching it, I will watch it again with no complaints. And I love telling people to watch it. And whenever people ask me what my favorite movie is of all time and I say this one, a lot of the time people are shocked. I think sometimes people, when they ask what like a cinephile's favorite movie is, they expect the answer to be something like The Godfather or, you know, just something that's very filmy. And this to me is like the perfect like sort of rom-com without being too much of like anything. It's like also a music movie, which is my favorite genre of movie, and the soundtrack, which I have here on CD, is one of my favorites of all time. Like it just covers so many good songs of the 80s and it's a great movie. Like I love this movie so much. I will say, apart from The Wedding Singer, all the other movies are in no particular order. It's just whatever I've grabbed. The next movie in this list is Purple Rain from 1984. This is a movie starring Prince. This movie is so electric and it just shows what a force Prince is, especially in this era. Prince was always a force, but with this soundtrack and with the performances in this movie and everything that's happening, it's iconic for a reason. And I don't use that term lightly, but I don't think me saying that is unpopular opinion anyway. There was a period of time though, right after I like watched it for the first time, where I just like had it on every night just because I was like, oh, it's time for Purple Rain again. And again, because I am a massive Prince fan, Prince is my favorite artist of all time. I have like a big Purple Rain collection. So I have like the DVD, I have the movie on tape, I have the soundtrack on CD, and I have the soundtrack on vinyl as well. The next movie is Frances Ha from 2012. This is a movie that is directed by Noah Baumbach and it is written by Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. And when I first saw this movie, it changed my life. That's a common reoccurrence with all these movies. They altered something within my headspace, and this movie is so important to me. So this film is about a woman, Frances, who is a dancer and she's living like in New York and she's trying to carve out her creative path as she's, you know, dealing with life in general. She's got her best friend that's doing something else and kind of moving along with her life, and Frances feels stuck. And I think it's just an important movie to watch at any point in time. It'll just like get you. And I haven't rewatched it in a bit because like the last time I did, I was like crying and everything because it's just so moving and it's so special, and the soundtrack is amazing and it's so hard to find, but one day I will own it. And Greta Gerwig's performance is just full of heart and it's just a special watch, and it's a very important movie about finding yourself, living your life, about friendships, and about pursuing your craft and your dreams. The next movie on my list is The Princess Diaries from 2001. I love both of these movies and I love the nostalgia and comfort that comes with them. I love their soundtracks again, and these movies have been around me forever, and I always enjoy rewatching them, and I love watching Anne Hathaway and Julie Andrews together, and they're just movies that are special and people should watch them because they have that heart and they have that warmth to them that sometimes movies are missing. Like, it makes you want to revisit them. The next movie is Who Framed Roger Rabbit from 1988. This is obviously one of my favorite movies of all time, but it's a bit underrated, and I've shown this movie to people and they've really enjoyed it. And this movie is like a great mystery, but it's great with pop culture, and it's animation meets live action. It can be a kids movie, but it is pretty full on. Like, I watched it as a kid and used to be freaked out, and when I was a bit older and watching it, I was like, oh, like I completely missed what this was and what was happening here and all of that. Like, this is a movie built for adults as well. I love rewatching this movie, and again, the pop culture references, the jokes, the way it's put together, like in terms of like technology as well, is just so well done and so enjoyable. It's like a perfect movie to me, honestly. The next movie is Amadeus from 1984. This is a masterpiece, and it's kind of underrated and underviewed at the moment. I feel like, just based on what I see, this movie is amazing. This movie is very special. So I was first made to watch this movie and I kind of was like, oh, I don't know, because I was always scared of this imagery as a kid. But then I was made to watch it and I like fell in love with it. I was so entranced and so intrigued by it. And every time I've rewatched it since, and every time I've thought about it, it makes me think of certain things. So Amadeus is a film by Milos Forman, which is based on a play by Peter Shaffer, which is here. I have read this play. It's my favorite play. It's about the fictional rivalry between composers Mozart and Salieri, and it's told from Salieri's point of view, and it's about the concept of jealousy, God-given talent, working hard versus just being a genius. What does that mean? Competing with that, feeling insecure about that. Amazing look at all of these topics, and it's done in such an amazing way. And the sets and the performances and the soundtrack is obviously amazing because it's like full of Mozart and classical music. Even if you're not a fan of classical music, this movie has such oomph to it and pace. Like, the opening scene, the first time I saw it, just got me. It really opened up a lot of my mind, honestly, when it comes to movies and everything. And I've got so much Amadeus stuff. I've got the Amadeus Director's Cut DVD, the Blu-ray, the play, the movie on tape, the vinyl soundtrack, the CD soundtrack, and the soundtrack on tape. I didn't realize how much Amadeus stuff I had, which is kind of hilarious. The next movie is The Sound of Music. This is a movie I grew up on as a kid and was like watching with my grandparents, and would be like, oh, it's time to watch this. To watch it felt so special because of its long run time. So it was like an event, because it was like, we have to watch it like at a certain time and we are locking in. And every time I would be like allowed to watch it, I would just be like fixated by it. And I think now, when I have rewatched it, and I'm long overdue for a rewatch, I think it'll hit me even more than the way it did like when I was a kid. Like, sometimes you just like feel emotions as a kid when you watch something, but you can't fully comprehend where that's coming from. But that's just, you know, masterful filmmaking. But even now, I know there are like certain songs that I never got around as a kid. You know, there's always like a couple sometimes that you don't appreciate when you're younger and you're watching something. Songs like Climb Every Mountain and Edelweiss are songs that now I can't listen to on their own because they're like just so moving. And I know, like, yeah, when I rewatch this, it's gonna be like, oh, The next movie is The Karate Kid from 1984. This movie is one that, again, I could just watch over and over and over again. Everyone should watch this movie because it is so inspiring. It's very powerful. It's lots of fun. When I watched it for the first time as a kid, I just remember I could not stop thinking about it. And I do enjoy like the trilogy of the Karate Kid movies, and I've seen like a little bit of Cobra Kai, but this movie and Karate Kid 2 are my favorites within all of that. But like everything from the soundtrack to the script to the performances, just everything about it, the pacing, just the way it keeps moving, and it's like so intriguing. It's like a perfect movie in my opinion. I think it's just like so special. It has that special quality to it. And here is the Karate Kid soundtrack on CD. I love this soundtrack. It's just so good. Next is a David Lynch movie, and it is Mulholland Drive from 2001. I love this movie so much. It changed the way I think about movies. I love David Lynch. By the time I saw Mulholland Drive, I'd seen like all of Twin Peaks and some other David Lynch movies, I think. Oh, Blue Velvet. When I got to Mulholland Drive, I was like, oh, this is wild. I saw this in the cinema last year, which was so cool. I've seen this movie so many times. This is my Criterion Collection copy of it because I love it so much. But if you haven't seen Mulholland Drive, I think it's best to just go in without knowing anything about it and just letting it happen. It's one of those where like watching it for the first time, if you let it, can like change your thinking and you can let it inspire you in that way. Like I think this movie is perfect as well. The next movie is This Is Spinal Tap from 1984. This is a Rob Reiner movie, and this movie is so much fun. I have the soundtrack here because I love it so much, and when I first watched it, I bought the soundtrack on iTunes. I was like that into it. And I used to watch this every night at one point because I just loved it so much and would just make me laugh. And This Is Spinal Tap is pretty much a satirical comedy about musicians in bands in the 80s. And it is so funny and the songs are so great. And the performances from Rob Reiner, Michael McKean, Christopher Guest and Harry Shearer are just so good that like if you go back and look at what people like Ozzy Osbourne had to say about the movie, so many famous musicians were watching this thinking it was an actual documentary. This is also, I think, kind of the start of the mockumentary genre, which Christopher Guest has done a lot of movies that are mockumentaries, like Waiting for Guffman and like Best in Show, all of those sorts of movies. But this movie is just done so well. It's a perfect movie and perfect comedy. And the 10th and final movie that I'm claiming to be in my top 10 favorite movies ever list apparently is Music and Lyrics from 2007. This movie caters to me in every way. It's a music movie, it's a comedy, it's full of heart, it's done really well. Drew Barrymore and Hugh Grant are great in it, and it's just so rewatchable and I just love it so much. Ever since I was a kid and I first saw it, this soundtrack is great. It's great pop music and it's so much fun, and again, it's a really special movie to me. That's my top 10 favorite movies right now in this moment. In 2 minutes, I'll probably swap something out. But for now, those are my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope to see you in the next one.